Hey everybody, good morning, morning. Had a quick message I had to take care of there. Good morning, Infinity Wade, Sergio, Larry, John, Goose, Lieutenant Colonel. How you doing this morning? Feeling better? Any better? Goose hadn't been feeling good this week. Nikki, glad to see you. Eric, Robert, if you want to chat with me like all these fine folks, check it out right over here. Click the link right over here. Be a subscriber on the channel. Say good morning. Say, ask me your questions, whatever it might be. And I'll start right here. Reminder, right there, up there. Good Friday coming up. It is a market holiday. This is a market holiday. This is right off the NYSE website right here. So be prepared for Friday being closed in the market. That means weekly options expire Thursday. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. That means you got tomorrow. All right. If you're going to roll stuff, if you're going to do whatever, make sure you start planning it out today. Get it done by tomorrow. All right. Enough said. Hopefully it's clear for everybody. Good morning, ELT. Don't recognize your name, but welcome. Craig, Jan, Rex, Cliff. Chat's jumping around a little bit. Roland, Ryan, Zoob. Don't recognize your name, but welcome. Jody, Campbell. Cam, glad to see you again, my man. Kimberly, my lovely wife here. Saying, hey, everybody, she's my favorite supporter, my best supporter. Anyway, Ralph, Jorge, Chris, good morning from Beaver Creek. You out there running around again, Chris? Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hey, and hopefully everybody takes this warning in. I mean, I'll be live on Friday, all right? Don't think this is, don't knock me off your calendar. I'll be live on Friday talking about crypto. Doing a crypto special on Friday. So there you go. Joseph, this show is not a request show. That's Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. If you missed it last night, we did it for 30 minutes of awesome. And it actually ended up being an hour and a half of awesome, I guess. So that's the request show. Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Put it on your calendar, put it on your reminder. That's where I do requests. The morning show is more about figuring out what the devil is moving this morning. And speaking of moving, check this out right here. Check this out. SPX is in the third longest streak of days without a 2% decline. Going back, that should be 00, not 20, all the way back 24 years. We've gone 274 days at this point as of 2 days ago. So now it's 275, 200, today it'll be 276 if we don't get a decline. And dun, 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 dun. Might we bump up to number 2? It's not that far away at this point. Only about 70 more days of trading. Could we make number 1? We've only got like 700 whatever days left to go. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Be crazy. Think about that. How unique this is for the last, if you want to complain about, hey, why aren't certain things happening? We're in the top moves. And if we go back even further, all the way to 1928. This is still the 14th longest, and we'll be in the 13th longest streak if we make it into next week without getting a pullback. And this is a mind bender. Think about this a second. That's crazy. That's why this is a unique period of time. Now, these periods of time do occur. They have occurred in the past. But what happens? What happens after? Look at a bunch of these right here. Look at the dates. 07. Anybody remember what happened in 07? 2018. Anybody remember what happened then? And we've got 4.5% over the following 5 sessions when that one finally ended. This one, Volmageddon. Anybody remember that? 2018, 19. Saw minus 10% in 7 sessions. It was pretty fast, pretty volatile. And blew out a bunch of those short vol ETFs, short VIX. That's what I mean. Vol is volatility, not volume. It's volatility. Right there. 2015, 2014. We saw some back-to-back ones. 11, 18. Look right here, number 9. You remember that one? I made a bunch of money on that one. It's very interesting here. Very, very interesting. So there we go. That's my morning for the day. And this is just straight off of X/Twitter, Spot Gamma. They throw out some interesting tidbits sometimes. And this guy replied to Spot Gamma. Yeah, this guy occasionally throws out some good stuff too. It's a trap. So anyway, I do follow this one. I don't follow this one. So anyway, I'm on X if you want to follow me. So, X.com, formerly known as Twitter. Now, reminder, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. I may never get another prediction right again. That's the breaks, you know. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I got it right in the past doesn't mean I'll ever get it right again in the future. The patterns I follow may never work again, although it's unlikely that they quit working. They've been working for hundreds of years. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything at all. No financial instruments, no stocks, no options, no bonds, no forex, no futures, no cryptos, no treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. It all involves a substantial risk of loss. Everybody understand? Everybody got it? So, anyway, don't buy stuff from gurus. Don't buy stuff from people, period, unless you trust them. Most people out there are just trying to take some of your money and make it into some of their money. And if you don't trust them to do right by you, then what are you doing? I mean, you may feel like you have limited options on some things, but I guarantee you there are more options than you might think. And certainly when you go looking for stuff from gurus, the presentations you see, they're intentionally made to pull on your heartstrings, to pull on your emotions, to make you want to buy. If you don't trust that guru that's giving you the spiel, and I almost guarantee you 99% of the time, the guru that's blabbing, even me, the presentations I give outside of, when it's a sales presentation, it's written by a copywriter with intentions of trying to invoke you to buy. It's the truth. All right. I don't write those things. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult your financial advisor or a financial advisor who has a fiduciary duty to give you advice. And remember, that person right there, make sure you trust them too, because they're just out there trying to make some of their money. Make sure you trust people. Make sure you trust me before you buy anything from me. But if you want to go deeper, you want to hang out with me, you want to support me, link is in the description down below. You click the more button down there underneath the video, and it's like $5 to get started if you haven't already. Get you in Discord, get you the roadmap line, this big orange line right here. Super handy. And anyway, so got the calendar. What's interesting to me. So today's Wednesday, right? We'll jump back over to the calendar real quick. We've got not really much happening today. We have GDP, a bunch of these numbers tomorrow. Didn't mean to highlight Canadia's. All this stuff tomorrow. Friday's a holiday, and they're going to throw out PCE, and Powell is going to speak while the market's closed. Whew. That'd be interesting. That'll be an interesting one. Hey, everybody. Major John, good to see you. My house. I don't think my house is here, but maybe it's your house. Glad to see you. All right. So, I don't know. This could, depending on what happens here, we could see some crazy stuff on Monday. It's an interesting strategy there, Cotton, and bold strategy there, Cotton. We'll see if it works out for him. I wonder if they're trying to slip this in on Friday while the market's closed for some particular reason. Really makes me wonder there. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about what's moving. What's moving? S&P overnight doesn't move. So usually, I mean, look at that. We got a nice pullback. Not a 2%er. Only about 1%. Only about 1%. And the support just down a little bit lower. But the future's already indicating that we may be bouncing. We may be bouncing. Check it out. Yes, this is S&P 500 futures. If you didn't know, this is how the media pundits know what's up before the market opens. I just moved alerts yet again. Gosh, dadgummit. Really frustrating. I don't even know where that alert was. All right. I can move an alert without even trying, but I can't move a freaking drawing on this chart for the life of me. So yesterday it looked like we did this pullback, bounced up, plummeting into the close, retracing overnight. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. The long and the short of it. If we break out through this zone right here, through that high, if we break above that, we're going on extensions. Those extensions for ES, 5350, 5370, those are the zones. And remember, those are not definitive lines. Those are little fuzzy zones. All right, we can go touch those fuzzy zones up there. Somewhere in there. And it's highly likely we'll see it go like this. Pop up, retrace, and pop up if we're going up here. That's the most likely pattern. Now, if we don't break through there, this is very clear right now. This is like the clearest the market's been in a little while. Very clear. We get above that, we're probably going up there. 70% likely. If we break back down, let's see. This right here, it's going to be the line in the sand for today. So below that 52.73, this is ES. All right, these numbers are ES. The S&P numbers run a little bit different, and we'll go through that in just a second. If we bust through there, we're coming down in this zone right here where I had the target yesterday that we came up a little shy. Probably going right down there. All right. Outside of those parameters, there's nothing really defined. All right. Nothing really defined. So right now, see where the 618 comes out right there for that low that we hit yesterday. That's why that orange zone sits right there. This consolidation right here, that gives it a zone that's resistance. We get above that zone, probably going up. Could be even higher here. Could be even higher. So we'll see what happens here. All right. See what's shaking. All right. Now, now, the difference between ES and SPX. Oh, that didn't do quite what I was wanting to do. It's ES1 exclamation point minus. Push the right key. You can do math in the ticker bar right here, and essentially the same. Now look, this is interesting because it's one of the biggest divergences we've had between futures. God, it is the biggest we've had since a long time, maybe ever. That's quite interesting. So forward-looking futures, definitely looking for an appreciation. Now what we're going to have when the contract rollover happens in futures are contracts. They expire quarterly. The active contract is the one that expires next, and the current one is expiring in June. All right, this was the end of the March contract, rolled over to June, and now we're going to, it's kind of like the way options work. We have time value baked into it, theta. We get a theta decay, for lack of a better term, on the futures contract as we come toward expiration, where the difference between SPX and the futures contract gets eaten away. All right, the kind of the line between the red and the green is the actual decay line right here. Kind of see it right there as we get close to the expiration date on that contract, the end of the futures contract. So right now, that's why is there a discrepancy between ES futures? Because we're on the June expiration contract, and eventually we'll come down to near zero. It almost never hits zero, but we'll probably see some a decay rate kind of like that as we get closer and closer. And I actually should put it out in June, not in May. So it makes more sense right about there. So we'll probably follow that line right about like that as we decay. All right. Bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. Going back to ES. And you can see it right here, the forward looking right now. They have contracts all the way out to 29. Yeah, ESM 2029 contract. You can see it right up there. ESM 2029. So if we went to the actual contract, ESM 2029, you could buy futures out here for June 2029, if you were so inclined. It's very illiquid. But you can see they're running at 61.41 compared to ES right now, 52.91. So when they talk about the market expects further advancement of of the S&P, like there you go, that's the forward-looking curve. Now other things have a different curve. Like look at oil right here. This is the current oil contract, and the contracts out here, and they have them all the way out to 2035 right now. CLF 2035, 64. Look at that. Kind of expecting a long-term $64 price on oil per barrel. Is that the EV adoption? Is that, I don't think that's reality on oil personally, but it's kind of interesting, right? And, you know, other things have similar contract futures. Look at this. There's a weirdness in NQ. Doesn't quite match S&P right here. What's that all about? Curious. Right? And then RTY showing a big appreciation moving forward. By June, they're kind of expecting substantially higher, maybe. We'll see on that one. And so that's an interesting thing. GC, that's the one I was thinking of. Pulling a blank for a second. Look at gold. Look at that ramp. It doesn't even go up that high though, 2,600. So if gold starts performing, look at that pop. Beautiful pop. Holy moly. Holy guacamole. Really nice. Really nice. All right. Moving back, let's talk about the market. S&P getting a little pop, jumping down the time frames, looking at the cash index now that we have it open. We came down right near the roadmap line, didn't quite touch it, didn't quite get there. Popping up that level right up here. So calibrating your numbers for the actual cash index, if you just want to worry about that, not about the futures. About 52.50, we get above that. Probably heading up to 52.80, maybe 5,300. So there you go. If you wanted to set an alert right here, about 52.50-ish, 52.47-ish, somewhere in that zone. We break above that, probably heading up here, and the possibility to go up here. Now we do have a larger target sitting right up here, around 53.50, that I've had up there for a little while. And if NVIDIA becomes the largest company in the land, we're likely to be up here around 5,500. That's kind of the forward path right now. That's the small, and there's the big, if we're going to do that kind of crazy stuff. Now, how long, going back to the chart I started out with, a little graph, how long can we remain crazy? Well, right now, the record is 950 days. And that we've had in my trading history, a 950-day run without a 2% pullback. That put it in the top of the top percent moves. All right, these are bullish runs. We're in the top 30% of bullish runs since 2020. Since since the year 2000, excuse me. Basically the entire time I've been trading with real money. And, you know, when you look at all moves ever, this is like the top, we're in the top 1% basically right now. So this is definitely a rare period of time, not exactly the typical period of time. And we're seeing this S5FI decline off that 80 level for the stocks above the 50-day moving average. Seeing less participation than we had back here as we churn right up here near the all-time highs. The S5TH poked into that 80 level, getting a little pullback. All these things kind of coming together here, making me nervous, looking a little sketchy. The stocks above the 20-day, this one's a little more volatile. That last hit there, that may have been the top, and we may see a move all the way down to the 20% level. Now, this one tends to be a lot more volatile than the 50, and certainly more volatile than the 20. Kind of expecting a move like that. We'll see what happens here. NQ, QQQ, just hanging in the channel, hanging out in the channel. When I first brought up the chart, I had QQQ on here, and it's just hanging in the channel. We tried to break down over here last week, didn't quite make it, and we're hanging at the bottom, kind of the bottom quarter of the channel here. If we break down, watch out below. Seems to be we're retracing a bit. Dun, 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 dun. Rallying a bit, retracing a bit. These are delayed 10 minutes. So Russell finding support on that 30-minute. Kind of been there. Not really poking lower. It's interesting. If we fail down, we're probably going lower. If we, ooh, look, that's kind of a 5-wave setup here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1. Oh man, this is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ugh, that's getting messy. Support down here around. Let's just zoom out to the daily. Grab the magnifying glass, zoom her up, Buttercup, and here you go. There's the channel we're in on Russell. We're hanging near the upper end of this, but not exactly the strongest price action here with all this overlappy. I expect a breakdown on NQ. We've got 3 different stories going right at the very current moment. We had alignment on NQ and ES. Now we're kind of diverging stories here. Gives it uncertainty. That means you should be careful. Be careful. All right. Oil still churning in right in the middle of the channel. That thing can pop. Someone getting a little overexcited out there, pulling out of the gas station across the street, and oil's just sitting right here. We broke above. Very, very excited. We broke above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We popped up here, ran out of steam at that 83 target, retraced back, retested these highs, tried to go again, made a lower high. We're just churning here again. We did this right over here, and we got really excited, popped up, and just kind of churned. And then we saved up our energy. Then we went again, and we kind of churned. And then we went again, and we're going to kind of churn. So we're probably going to, if we look at how long this has been churning, this one took 10, 11 bars, 11 trading days. And then delete that off. Delete. Then this one right here took us about 6 bars. And right now we are on 5 bars, so 6, 7. Like sometime in the next few days, we could see a breakout on oil and running on up higher after consolidating. Consolidation, pop, consolidation, pop, consolidate. And the pops are getting bigger. So this next pop could take us right up here to this 85, 86 zone that I've been looking for. Came up just shy of the target zone. So watch for that next pop right over here. That's oil for you. How do you trade oil? USO, UCO. There's a bajillion oil ETFs. Use Google. It's your friend. Find one you like. Make sure it's liquid. I use UCO a lot of times. It's leveraged. Gold getting above that 618 level and 2240 upside target. Next extension. That's it. Simple as that. 70% likely. BTC. Nice push higher. 70% likely. We're going up to 77, 78 area right up here. Simple as that. Could extend higher. Ethereum. Still not triggered the bullish setup here yet. This one's still slightly biased lower until it can prove it. And that move, like what you see, a copy of that move right off of here, which puts us right into that target zone. We get above, doesn't have a great level here to get above, but let's see. Pull that up, pull this over. We're right at that resistance, that 618 line right there. Don't have anything definitive to get above, but I'm gonna say that the resistance could be all the way up to the 786 at this point. For that, it could still find resistance and turn down all the way up in there. All right, dollar still churning. Looks like we're gonna try to push above these highs from 3 days back. We get above those highs, that little wick right there. We've tilted the odds. We're going right up here. I mean, we already have 70% odds. We're coming up here, but we're just kind of confirming dollar's going on up there. Ways to play the dollar, like UUP, FXE, FXG, FXB, FXY. You can play, there's all sorts of ETFs to play different ways on the dollar, all right? Some are inverse, some are the same path, some are the same direction. So there you go. All right. CTAS, what's moving today? What's popping? What's dropping? Cintas, look at that, man. For a uniform company, rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't really have much upside target for that. That's just being wild on the upside. I mean, it's kind of one of those charts that's like epically higher. 759 maybe 829. Maybe it's gonna be ridiculous. 1125. It's just one of those that just keeps going. It's tilting the trajectory a little more crazy. So we may get one of these pullbacks. Usually when we go a little bit exponential, we tend to get a pullback. So that's kind of a warning sign. If you're in it long, protect your profits. MSTR, tagging that $2,000 target right there. Next one up here, 2,400. SMCI, still working on the correction. Potential big correction. This could take a while. Everybody thinks I said it was going to go fast. It could go fast, but it might take a while. All right. This is starting to set up a head and shoulders too. That could go fast. Like shoulder, head, shoulder. Watch for a breakdown below the neckline. I know there's some extra twists and turns in there, but watch for that. If you have a trend line alert tool, put a trend line in there, set the alert, break below it, could be a big down. All right, and if you just heard my stomach make a weird sound, sorry about that. Look at that. Look at that right there. It takes it right back to the 500 area. And that could go quickly, could take a while. All sorts of things can happen. I do expect eventually we're going to retrace back down here, but that could take a couple years. Could take a while. There you go. Just the short of it. DJT. Lower high so far. Watch for that to retrace again. Big gap overnight. And that's the signs of garbage that that's meme stock pattern basically. And if you've never seen this before, check this out right here. This is Psychology of a Market. There's like 9,000 of these if you Google them. and euphoria, and then we retrace. And I don't necessarily agree that we're going to full retrace. We may just do 61.8% or 78.6% of the move up and retrace. And so these bubbly things that we go exponential on tend to correct violently back down and bum people out. It's just the way it is. Like when everybody's telling you, like when your stewardess on the airplane is telling you to how they're a genius and invest in NVIDIA and SMCI and, your window installer. And we've had jokes about this over the last couple of weeks. When people that don't trade, shouldn't trade, your cabbie, your Uber driver giving you stock tips, for gosh sakes, be careful on those stocks. All right. People that aren't traders, when they get sucked into this stuff, we're getting up here, getting up into the thrill and the euphoria. And then the market has this way of taking everybody's money and teaching you lessons. All right. It happens on Bitcoin every 4 years. We do a cycle that looks just like this. Dun, 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 dun. That one's a corrective move up, very proportional. We stopped at that 74, 75 level. If we don't go any higher than that, that's a big corrective. We're probably going lower low than what we had right back here. SWAV. It's just a price pattern. It's not like, I'm just saying. IPOs are not bullish. And that I don't have data that's for SPACs necessarily, SPAC specific, but we basically converted DWAC into GJT. It was just a conversion. That's where the history comes from, but IPOs aren't bullish. And you'd be like, well, this thing's running. Well, look over here. We did the same stupid crap. Popped up, retraced, popped up, retraced, all the way down. Now we're doing it on a smaller scale than we even did right here. It's probably coming all the way back down. Just being honest with you. SWAV in the resistance 343, 373. Next upside targets. MRK. Wow. Gonna rocket right on up to 134. Upside target. FNGU. That thing's churning. And eventually it's gonna take a break back down to the roadmap line. I don't know when. Today, tomorrow. Sometime. And it's gonna be violent. And that's 3x leverage ETN. Be careful. There's no options. Or at least last I checked, there were no options on this thing. Be careful. We did break down. We were in this channel blasting off. We've kind of broke below it, retested the bottom of it. It's kind of like the first thing you see before it does a big dump right down here. And it could go even lower. Like it may not hold the roadmap line on this retrace. We may go all the way down in here. Be careful. NCNO. Encino Man. Draw the high, draw the low. Target 38, possibly 40. Coin. Hey, John, you don't have to tell us your name. We can see it. Anyway, right there. Bounce, glancing off of the resistance. Where does that resistance come from? Comes from right over here. If we get through that zone, and it's especially orange because I'm not trading in here. Like if we get a pullback, I'll trade. I'll go long for a potential pop. If we're just going to grind it right up in there, I'm going to wait until we're above it for this potential move up here and potentially up here. It's 525 roughly and 550 roughly, or 650, excuse me, 650. So lots of potential upside on coin.com or coinbase.com. Let's pull this down. mRNA. That one doesn't look bullish, but we've got a potential setup to push up in this area one more time. That would be a 3-wave up. If we turn down at that 136 area, probably going lower again after that. It has a smaller time frame, potential bullish up to about 330, 340 area right there. Oh, excuse me. CEG. Yeah, rock the target right there and reject it off. That's what I talk about. Watch for the upside resistance. This can... Now we got to watch for support. support is right here. We get below that, we could be coming on down lower in this zone. And potentially coming to visit the roadmap line. So watch for retrace into support. If we get below support, we go to lower support. Marvel. Chips not superheroes. Didn't quite touch the roadmap line. I would have really liked to see that touch, but we get back above this 77, 78 area. Probably tipping the odds. We're going up to 91, breaking above that prior high resistance, maybe 98. And then we could go on the bigger trip, the bigger move. Dun, 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 dun. Break out the superhero cape, potentially up here, like 110. That'd be a pretty nice upside, 70 to 110. I don't know what's going to do it yet. Right now, it would be a super aggressive buy. Feel a lot better above 78. Going for that, at least 91, 98, possibly 110. And if it went crazy up, you know, we could be talking 129, 168, 189. Let's not get too hopeful, but this could go quite a bit up. Quite a bit up. But we're stuck in the low time frame right now. The low pattern, the low cycle here. High probability pattern. If we get above this 78, that we're going to go to 91, possibly 98. And that would be the all-time high right there. A retest of that zone. And NVCR is a hot dumpster fire. We're just missing the reverse split right here. Like this looks like it's going down in a blaze of glory. And be careful. That's medical specialty too. It's got all the dumpster fire makings going for it. THC, poppin'. Medical, healthcare, nursing, and yeah, we could see a move on up even higher. That higher target comes from this right here, that zone. So next upside, probably up here around 127. DXYZ has 2 candles and not enough data to do anything with it. Tesla was popping. Now we're retracing that back off as we got in the open. We've got all this upside resistance to go to get through this gap down, and that little 3-wave up. Let's jump down to the time frames. I kind of went through this yesterday. I think I did it over here on a clean chart. Came up just a little shy. Oh, we tagged it. Oh, man. All right. It's game on for... It's all coming together. That move, that move, that move. Next one should take us down to here. This is a smaller time frame. Even smaller. Oh, yeah. So move down, retraced, pushing down. Expect to move down in this area. Then probably another retrace. Back up to here-ish. And then we get the final potential push down. Now, this could go a little deeper, but something like that is what I would expect at the moment. Looking for that 158 touch. Right down there. The lower low, then right back here. LABU. Let's go back over here. LABU. Back to the daily. Holding that trend line. If we get below that, certainly if we get below the roadmap line, going back down. This is a decaying asset. It did reverse split. Reverse splits are not bullish, especially not on a leveraged 3x instrument. This may have been the party's over, and we may see this retrace on further down, make a lower low. Then we head right back here in October. Party may be over on biotech. Remember, money's expensive, and biotechs lose money like crazy. DRCT. Load? What? Huh? Eh? Maybe? There we go. There we go. It looks like. Oh, right back to the roadmap line. This is what I warn about all the time. Look. Boom. Right there. That was the pattern. Like the exponential up, chop a little bit, plummet. Warn about these things all the time. This one looks like it wants to come all the way back down over here, but we could hold this higher level. That low, that high, right at the 618, right at the roadmap line. If we get below probably this 930 area, we could break down here. That's negative. We're not going negative. Wow. That got to put it on the log scale, I guess. And 91 cents, I guess, would be the zone. So this actually moves down right here. That would be next support below that 91. Potential 47 on the upside and 91 cents on the downside. What do you want to play with? That's a coin flip. FLUT. That's a dangerous chart. That's like that may be one of the most dangerous charts I've pulled up lately. Holy guacamole. Super dangerous. FLUT right here. Flutter probably coming back. It's kind of tagged the bottom of my target zone there. Probably coming back then. This would be where I would expect first line of defense right here at the roadmap line. If we're going to go higher, may come back to here. If we get below that, party's probably over for now. Probably come back to 150. BWMN. Back to the roadmap line. GME. Glanced off the roadmap line. Oh, man. If it's going higher at all, we got to save this zone. If we get below it, coming down here. It's like right there. There's we tag down. Spikes don't count. I mean, like on trends, we need confirmation. So you got to push down in there, and then you got to continue down in there. We just spiked it. It's like a fake out, and we could reverse, and we could go higher. But at this point, if it is bullish, this looks like a big three-wave corrective type thing, and we're probably only going up to this 20 area on the upside if we're going up. Otherwise, 10 on the downside. And we're sitting at 13. It's like 7 downside and 3 downside, 3 downside, 7 upside. Had them flipped in my mind. So bigger upside potential, but it's also slanted to downside probability. Dangerous. ALB has not enough candles to do anything with. Looks dangerous. PDD, return to the roadmap line. And we may be breaking down. 101, downside target. 91 below that. ALT, back to the roadmap line. This is biotech. And that may have been all she wrote for that party. This one could be coming on down here to this zone right here. If we get below the roadmap line. Baidu, the last one on the list today, just churning sideways still. Nothing. Bunch of nothing. Sitting on support, doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right. Bias for the day. Extreme caution would be, I mean, I keep saying this, but that's kind of what I started out with. Like, we could go further down. We rejected this zone so far. Spiked it and pushing off of it. Support right down here at the roadmap line. We didn't hit it yet. This is where I would expect us to find a bottom. If we're going to find a bottom in this move, if we start getting below this zone, we could go on a bigger correction. All right. that's what we got. If I said anything today that was helpful, make sure you give me a like. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell with the notifications so you know when I go live every single time. Turn on all notifications. And dun, 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 dun. I'll see you later. I'll see you tomorrow. Be back. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15. And we'll talk about the morning movers again. And I'll be live Friday when the market's closed. So 2 more shows this week. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting me.